Trying to figure out the best place to put the camera. I guess it's here. I hope the fan doesn't like bug people because you can actually see it in the background. Hopefully we're good. Hopefully we're good. Um, I will be eating breakfast and we'll be talking about our books and stuff. My husband has Elliot upstairs, and I'm hoping she's gonna calm down soon because she doesn't seem to be too happy right now that she's up there with him instead of down here with me. So yeah, we'll see how she's gonna do up there. We might have Elliot pop in and out just depending on that. But otherwise, hello, good morning, happy Thursday. I hope I don't sound too weird. Last week was fall break for Presley's school and like my sister's school and whatnot, but literally the Sunday before fall break, Presley got sick, gave it to all of us. He must have gotten it at school and it just didn't show up until Sunday. Just a normal cold, like upper respiratory sort of thing, not COVID because it was negative, not flu because it was negative. Like everything that they tested for was negative, just like a normal stuff. But my husband and I got it last, so we're a little bit eh. But otherwise, we're going to be doing some reading sprints. Like I said, I can really definitely hear Elliot up there, so she might be coming down. Hello, hello. Like I said, we're going to be doing some reading sprints. I also have breakfast because Presley is at preschool today. He's so much better. Like last week was no school at all, which was great because he was sick first. A couple days later, Elliot got it. I actually thought we were going to like get off scot free. And then this weekend, my husband and I got it. Um, so yeah, no, I mean, I'm feeling much better. I just feel like I still sound a little bit weird. Maybe I don't, but that's how I feel at least. I feel like I can hear it. Come here, Elliot. Come say hi to everyone. I heard you. Come here. Now she's bugging daddy. She just is like, everybody carry me, love me. Do you want to say hi? Say hi to everyone. Oh, look. Can you see yourself on the camera? Oh, you want my breakfast? I can let you have some breakfast too. Yeah. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna be having breakfast probably while we're doing reading sprints and stuff. I'm in the middle of three different books right now. Mostly just because I have like an audiobook going. You want a bite? Okay, okay. Here. Have a bite. A bite of toast, basically. Um, I currently am listening to The Iron Trial by Holly Black and Cassandra Clare on my drives for like taking Presley to school, bringing Presley back from school, errands, that kind of stuff. I'm actually almost done with it. I think I have like 40-ish minutes. So, depending on how stuff goes today, I'll probably be able to finish it tomorrow. Um, and then um, I have an ebook, which is actually an ARC, which is Out There Screaming, the anthology that's edited by Jordan Peele. I started reading that at the very beginning of October, and I've just been sort of making my way through it very, very slowly. Um, Partly because it is an anthology and I sometimes forget about it, and then partly because the middle stories have not been doing it for me. And I don't know if it's just me personally or I haven't looked at any other reviews yet for it because I'm late putting my arc review up. But I have been reading those. Some of them are very, very creepy. Some of them have just, like I said, not really been working quite as well for me. Like I want more explanation from them. But that is something. And then the other one, I'm a little bit greasy right now because butter on the toast. The other one that I'm currently reading and only have read for one day so far, but I am enjoying it, is The Heart Principle by Helen Hoang. So I'm probably going to either be reading this one or Out There Screaming today during sprints, just because I need to read more in both of those. So let me know what you guys are planning on reading today. We are going to be sprinting for probably a couple hours, basically until I need to go get ready to pick up Presley from preschool. Um, and Elliot might join us on and off as we do this because, Daddy's down here too. She'll have toys to play with. But right now she wants my breakfast. So I think that's what we'll start with. We'll start with some reading sprints just to let us eat and let you guys read or work or whatever you are doing today. Let's see. Yeah, yeah. Right now I'm showing 8:45. Let's do a 45-minute one. So we'll go until 30. That way we have enough time to do some stuff. Breakfast and all that for us at least. Let's do that. Let's start off with a 45-minute sprint. Read until 30. Okay. Hello, hello. We are back after that first reading sprint. So let me know how you're doing if you are progressing through whatever you're working on. Um, a Psalm for the Wild Built. That's one that I've been wanting to read. I actually have it on ebook, I think. I've heard many good things, and I guess it's good for you too if you're rereading it to try and get out of a slump, which, those suck. So hopefully that's doing good for you. I currently am doing the Out There Screaming, is what I decided to go with first. I read one and like more than a half of another story. They vary with like how long it takes to read. So like the first one that I read today, which was The Norwood Trouble by Maurice Broaddus, was only like a 12-minute-ish read according to like my speed. Um, and it was okay. I Some of these stories, like I said, in the middle, like I'm in the middle of the collection right now. I'm just not fully getting, or I'm not getting the horror aspect as much. This one was it had very much like it's talking about like racism and stuff, and it feels like it's set in the past in some way. We don't fully know. Some of these stories are more present day than others. Um, but I didn't fully understand like the ending of it. But I gave it a 3 stars because it's not bad writing or anything like that. The first few stories in this collection I really, really liked. Like the first, I want to say, what was it, like 3 or 4, I really enjoyed. Like, they were all the first 3, it looks like, were all 4, 5, 4.5 stars, which were a story by N.K. Jemisin, a story by Rebecca Roanhorse, and a story by Cadwell Turnbull. Like, those ones, like, they started off so, so well, and then everything else so far has been a little bit hit or miss. There was another one by Aaron E. Adams that I gave a 5 stars, but then I've had some 2s and 3s. I'm currently in the middle of A Grief of the Dead by, I'm probably going to say this name wrong, Ryan. It's Rion, Amilcar Scott. And I'm actually enjoying this one. I haven't finished the part yet, obviously, where I was at. Um, but I am actually enjoying it. It has more like a chapter sort of feel, even though it is a short story. And it's dealing with like some like bird stuff and zombie stuff. I feel like it's a very interesting combination. So I'm probably going to finish that story at least in the next sprint that we do. But that's where I am with that. I'm reading, a story or two every so often this month. I was hoping it was going to go faster, but like short story collections are hit or miss. Sometimes I devour them, and then sometimes I just take them, bits and pieces at a time. Hello, hello. Yeah, working, I figured some people were working last time, that some people were probably gonna work this time instead of reading, but hey, I'm glad to have you guys here. Hello, hello. Ooh, 21 pages, nice. Since I'm reading on my ebook, I actually don't know exactly how many pages, and I actually was not paying attention to how much percentage I've read. I've just read about one and a bit. Yeah, I've heard really, really good things about it. I've actually never read any Becky Chambers ones at all yet. And so it's one of those ones that I definitely want to read, and I probably need to get to it at some time. Oh, did you want to come up? Come here, Elliot. It was a big jump over here. She just had a bottle with Daddy, so I think she's going to come hang out apparently. 21% of your book and some work. Oh, a novella. Okay. Yeah, yeah, I've heard nothing but good things about Wild Built, so it's something that I definitely have as an e-reader book option. I just haven't gotten to it yet. Video editing, catching up on the videos filmed in August. I do not do pre-filming very much, so like all of my filming is like are usually around the weekend before I'm planning on filming or putting them out. Um, but we've been sick lately. I mentioned at the very, very beginning of these sprints that like Presley got sick the weekend before fall break. Like he must have caught something at school. It was just a cold. We tested for everything possible. Like took him to the doctors. COVID was negative. Flu was negative. Everything was negative. It was just some sort of cold upper respiratory thing. He caught it at school. Brought it home. Was sick all fall break. Elliot was sick pretty soon after him, and then my husband and I caught it like at the end of last week. So I feel like I sound weird, but that also means I have not posted a video in at least a week, over a week. I didn't post last Thursday. I was gonna try and get something posted like on Saturday as a just in case, but people were sick. I didn't post on Tuesday. Like I just it's people have been sick. It has not been happening. So editing is something I need to do eventually, but hey, at least you're getting stuff done. Yeah, I used to say I was never an anthology reader, like because I'm very much like it's either a really, really, really good short story or I feel like something is missing and I want more from it. So I was always just like, "Oh, I think I'm just not a person that likes short stories. I just don't like this." Well, I've read some really good ones that I've really enjoyed, and so I was like, "Okay, maybe I am." And it just depends on, who's writing it, obviously. Because I've read some ones that are like a whole anthology of different short stories by one specific author, and like almost every single story is like a hit. Like I love it. So I think it does depend on who's writing it and like what they're trying to get across. And so with this anthology collection, some of them are really really good, and then other ones I don't get it, or I feel like there was more to the story that I just wasn't there for. Like something was going on where it didn't quite get there for me. And so I'm hoping to get some more better ones now because I've had a string in the last few ones that I've read that are only like 2 or 3 stars. I've only had one star that I just did not understand, did not like the writing style, that kind of thing. So they're not necessarily bad, but I feel like I've had a lot in the middle right now of ones that are just sort of disappointing or I don't get. And so I'm hoping they they get back up there because the ones at the very beginning 100% drew me in. I absolutely love them. But yeah, I think it just depends on the authors, obviously. But one thing I will say about this one, because it's out there screaming, it's edited by Jordan Peele. I had watched Nope first, which I know is like the most recent one because it was available like on Amazon Prime or something. Well, Get Out and Us are now available on Netflix. And so I watched them recently. I've been going through like a scary movie phase recently outside of reading, and it was really really good. I don't think he has a short story, and I don't know, like he's obviously not like a writer, so I doubt that's something that maybe he feels like he can do, but I would be very curious to see, since he's done like screenplays and that kind of stuff, what that would be for him because he edited it. But I really really liked Get Out. I think is my favorite, and then Us, and then Nope. Even though I watched Nope first, but like they're still really good. The difference of like what kind of horror they have is always very interesting as well. Oh, reading Unearth the Tides by Alyssa Zavalianos. I'm so sorry. I probably definitely said that wrong. 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea retelling. I don't think I've ever heard of a 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea retelling. Like I'm sure there's some out there, but that's pretty cool. You'll have to let us know if you're enjoying that because yeah, you always see like the Beauty and the Beast retellings and that kind of stuff, but I would love to see more like classic retellings, but like ones that you don't see very often. That's pretty cool. About to ask what anthology. Yeah, it's the Out There Screaming, edited by Jordan Peele. So they're all like dealing with being black, and racism is a very big part of it. Some of these stories are set, and you can tell in the past. Some of them have like dates included with them, some of them don't. So the ones that I think I liked the most, I think were actually set closer to modern day, because the ones that are set more in the past, um, personally, I feel are a little bit more like historical drama for some of them versus horror, which is what I went in expecting. Like there are some that get a little bit horrific, but I also feel like they're counting on you to know a little bit more about certain events in history on some of them, not all of them, that I just don't know enough about potentially. And because they expect you to know at least some stuff to maybe have this like background knowledge, it's not hitting as much as I would like. But the ones that first started it out, I really, really enjoyed. And then there was like that one that I said by Aaron. somebody in the middle that was like, I think it's like Les Serena or something that was about like sirens and like a deal sort of thing. And I really did like that one as well. So there are some ones that are a little bit more not specifically dealing with historical racism in America that I do feel fit the very much like horrific aspects that you would expect from something like this. And some of them are a little bit more on the fantastical side, but yeah, it's just I think it just hit or miss with the authors. And most of the authors I have not read anything from before. Some of them I have. So it's just very interesting to sort of see like what can they do with a short story. Hi. She can't decide if she wants to face in or out right now, so you can't touch the computer though. That one's mine. That one's mine. Okay, so she has my hair in her hands. Then again, this girl loves to pull my hair like out, which is always fun. So like I said, I'm in the middle of a short story, so I think we'll probably start some more reading sprints in a little bit. Yeah, that's always a good way to do it. Like, some of the authors, so a lot of the ones that I first mentioned at the beginning of like, so like N.K. Jemisin, I've read a different short story before that I again gave like 5 stars. It was one of the ones that was like on the Amazon original short stories. I can't remember which one it is. I'll have to like look that up later, but I want to read more from her for sure because of that. And I really like the story that she had in this collection as well. So that's like proving to me that I need to read more books. And then I also gave Rebecca Roanhorse a good rating in this one, and I have a different book by her that I need to read the one with the lightning. I don't know, but I read I can't Black Sun, Midnight. It's not Midnight Sun. I can't remember the title, but I read a different like fantasy one by her that I really enjoyed as well. So like I'm seeing some commonalities that way. But then I had that other one that I mentioned that was Cadwell Turnbull, I think it was, that I gave a high rating to at the beginning of this short story collection. Yeah, Cadwell Turnbull, I gave like a 4.5. I have never heard of this author, at least as far as I know. Same thing with Aaron E. Adams. And so I'm very, very curious to see about do they have either other short stories or other novels that I would want to read because those ones I really did like the short stories. And so, yeah, I'm very curious about those ones. Yeah, the Sun one, the Sun one. Oh, Elliot's gonna get down. Yeah, it's on my shelf too. I just can't remember exactly what it's called right now. But I liked that one, and so yeah, it's not surprising me with some of the authors that I've read and enjoyed from before that I've also enjoyed the short stories now. And so now I just need to like eventually read more from the ones that I hadn't heard of before. So I definitely want to continue with the story that I'm currently reading because I feel like this could be another like actually like really good one. I just need to see how like the weird birds, zombie things mash up. I don't know where it's going yet, but I'm intrigued. So I think we're going to start another reading sprint. Um, and I think because of everything, I think we might just do one more reading sprint today. Let's do another like 45-minute one so we'll get close to 10:30 my time because then I'll be able to talk to you guys a little bit, finish up what we're doing today, and then I'm going to have to go get Presley from preschool. So I think that's probably what we're going to do. We're going to read until I'm having to do like math in my head. It's almost 45. If I read another 45, it'll be 30. So we'll just say 29, 28, 28. I'm sorry. I swear I did math in school. I got up to calculus in high school, and right now, trying to show you guys how this works. Not doing so well. So let's do that. Let's have me finish my short story, and then we'll see how everybody does. Okay. Hello, everyone. We're coming back from what will be our last sprint, just because it's almost time for me to go pick up Presley from preschool. And so I was off camera for a while just because Elliot is hanging out here in the living room. And I ended up having to like go over there and read on the couch with her. So I wasn't here and I didn't think you guys just wanted to see the background. So I did finish the story I was reading in Out There Screaming. And I did the next one as well. So the one we had talked about before, which I was, intrigued by, curious to see where it was going to go, ended up being a 3.5. Like there was just so much stuff that was like being put in it that again, I really just wanted more out of it. Like I wanted to see how things were connecting more than what we originally did. But then the one right after that was called A Bird Sings by the Etching Tree by Nicole D. Sconies, maybe. Um, I'm horrible with names, especially when I don't look them up beforehand, but you can sort of see it there. Um, I actually gave it a 5. I really enjoyed that one. It's not as much horror as like paranormal. It's a little bit tongue in cheek, but it does deal with again some racism issues and that kind of stuff. But it's about like ghosts and this like dead and not dead end, but like a really dangerous stretch of road and that kind of stuff. And so I really did like that one a lot. That's all I got to read so far, but that means I have one, two, three, four stories left in this collection. I will, Elliot, stop it, please. Trying to touch my cords. I will for sure finish this by the end of the month and then like have my actual review up when we do my wrap up. Um, but yeah, so that one was a 5. I really did like that one. Elliot, no, stop it. She is incorrigible. Okay. Um, and then yeah, I saw that a couple of you guys had talked about how Cadwell Turnbull has no gods, no monsters. I did also look that up right before we came back from reading sprints because I didn't like recognize the name, but I saw on Goodreads the cover and I was like, oh, I recognize the cover. I have no idea what it's about or anything, but I'm definitely gonna have to look into that one because of the fact that I liked his story so much. So thank you for that. Hello. Thank you for joining us, even though we're going to be done soon-ish just because, kids and school and stuff. 4%, but did lots of work. That's great. That's always good. 2 chapters in the Jasmine Throne. How are you liking that? I know you only read, I don't know if it's just the first 2 chapters or 2 chapters in general. That is a book that I think I unhauled last year or the year before just because it doesn't seem like my type of thing. It seems very political fantasy, which I don't like as much. So 35 pages. Oh, good. Yes, because you were talking about how you were doing your reading slump sort of thing. Whatever. You're good. Yeah, I mean, Elliot, stop trying to get the cord. Okay, I'm gonna unplug the computer. We're almost done with it anyway. She's just trying to get everything. Yeah, reading slumps sort of, suck sometimes, but I feel like, at least for me, and it seems like for you too, rereading something that you know that you like is usually a pretty good way to do it. So that's always great. No Gods and Monsters, now you wanna read it. Yeah, I'm very curious about it. I was looking through it a little bit, and I'm horrible with summaries, um, but it does talk about how it's, like, myth and legend too, so, like, I'm very curious about what this is, um, because I liked the story that he did before, and now I'm gonna also have to look up the author I just talked about, because there's a few of them in here that I have never heard of before, but I did like, so that's always good. In the middle and enjoying it. Yeah, very much political fantasy. Well, no, yeah. See, that's the thing about books is like people like different things, and I know last reading sprints we were talking about like the stuff your Kindle event and how like some people like dark romance, and I definitely don't. I'm very much, and it's something that like I'm 33 now, and it's taken me so long to like actually figure out certain things that I don't like. So like political fantasy, things that are very heavily political fantasy, things that are very heavily epic or dark, like the grim dark fantasy too. Like I definitely prefer more I won't say just urban fantasy, but there's certain aspects, certain like heaviness tones to fantasy that I don't enjoy. Um, so that kind of stuff, or like even with romance, I love romance. I'm very much like, I find that it's one of the genres I pick up the most, even though I didn't think it was one of the ones that I picked up, very often, but I do. But I don't like enemies to lovers most of the time, just with the way that it's written. So it's taken me forever to figure that out. So, oh, good. I'm glad people are, getting recommendations or knowing how other people are liking books. Hey, yes, I heard that was coming up, so I'm very curious about that. I actually just did so Pharaoh Feb on Instagram, which is like technically fantasy romance February. It's not February right now, but they just yesterday, so it's not technically a thing anymore. They just had free ebooks for fantasy romance stuff, and I think I downloaded like 10 maybe of those ones, just because, hey, more free ebooks that are going to go on my TBR, which is making my TBR grow, but they're free. Might as well try them out. Some of the authors I had heard of before, some of them I haven't, but they had like over 250 books that you could choose from, and I think I downloaded about 10. So that'll, we'll see. But I'm excited for spooky ones too, so that'll be really cool. Hopefully I get a reminder about that, because I might forget. But I did see that was a thing that was going to happen. Romantasy. Getting back into fantasy. Horror is hard to find. Yeah, I feel like you get into like, I guess eras is a good way to say it, but like that's what I find too sometimes, is I'll be like, okay, I'm going to be reading this kind of stuff, and I really find that I'm really liking a specific genre. At one time, I read a bunch of different stuff, and so like even right now, I wanted a little bit more horror, creepy books for October. And besides reading the short story collection, the book that I'm reading right now is a romance because it was on my TBR. But yeah, yeah, very exciting. I'm very curious to see what kind of stuff we have on there, because a lot of the ones that people will post for these like free ebook stuff are usually indie authors. And so I'm always excited to see who has books up, because there's a lot of indie authors. And so sometimes you don't hear of people or what kind of books they have until things like this happen, or, recommendations from people. So it's always good. Shoujo manga mood for the past 2 months. Just getting into fantasy again. Yeah, I I guess because I want to have some more spooky things to read this month, that some of my TBR has like not creepy vibes. I've actually been reading some of my more like horror manga. I read Soichi, Ellie's dropping things, by Junji Ito, which I really enjoyed because it is a short story collection and he has that kind of stuff quite often, but it's all about one specific sort of like anti-hero character, because Soichi shows up in Junji Ito stuff through different short story collections. And there were some stories at the back of that book that I'm like, oh, I remember this one. But there was some stuff at the beginning that I don't remember. So I don't know if they're like necessarily new or if I just didn't remember them. But I liked how it was placed sort of like in chronological order. And then I also read the first volume, the combined volume of PTSD Radio, which I hauled a few months back. Um, that is another horror manga, different author. I don't remember off the top of my head which author it is. But that volume I didn't realize, but it's all about hair, and how, so like almost like how Junji Ito has like one whole manga about spirals, and it ends up being a horror because of the spirals. This was horror dealing with hair, which I'm very, very intrigued. Like, I really did enjoy it. It's so weird, and it definitely gets into those horror vibes. And then there's more, obviously, than just like that first collected edition. Like, I really want to read more, because, like, I think it's still going to be dealing with hair further in the series as well. But it was an interesting one to read because I had not read anything in that series or by that author before. But so I've been picking up manga for my like creepy vibes in between the books that actually aren't that creepy. Read an anthology written by a Black woman called A Phoenix First Must Burn, and a short story collection called Dear Sweet Filthy World. I've heard of the first one, but I hadn't heard of the second one. Interesting. I'll have to look that up too. I do that a lot with these reading sprints is finding things that I either have heard of and want to look into more because you guys like them or haven't heard of. And I hadn't heard of that second one. So that's one that I'll have to look up. Thank you. Smashed. Smashed is pretty good. I think I have officially read everything that Ito has published in English. I have a whole, like, almost an entire shelf right now of Junji Ito stuff. And Smash is pretty good. I think I've mentioned before on my channel that, like, Love Sickness and Shiver are some of my favorites. Tombs actually was one of the more recent short story ones that was published that was really good. Like those ones are really creepy in my opinion. Yeah, Soichi's pretty good. Smash is pretty good. He does have some ones that I didn't like as much, like Remina. Didn't really get that one, but he's a good horror manga. Are you trying to get down or not? No? You want to see yourself? Hi. Nice a baby girl. Dementia 21, Volume 1 and 2 from Library last night. I've not heard of that one either, but I'm going to assume since we're talking about like horror manga stuff that maybe that's one of those. I'll have to look that one up as well. Yeah, Tombs was so good. Shiver, I think, was the first of the ones that I say are like my favorites of the short stories. So like Shiver, Love Sickness, and Tombs. Shiver was the one that was published first in those like ones. So I don't think it's gonna like give anything away or anything, but I think Shiver has some like really like Shiver's the cover that has like if you have like that fear of like the holes, they have some of that kind of stuff on there. So like the cover is like really, really creepy that way. Um, but it also has some of my favorite like creepy stories. I think that was the one that has some of like the one with like the really creepy model, like the model stories, because there's a couple different ones. I think are really creepy, like the art style. So, yeah, Tombs is really good. Okay, and yes, we are now getting to the time where I'm going to have to say goodbye so I can go get Presley. Thank you all for joining me today. I really, really enjoyed this. I'm hoping as Presley gets like, we've been doing great with preschool, by the way. He's been doing so much better with like going in and going into class and everything because I know you guys know that we've had some issues before. But I'm hoping that as we get like even better in preschool and then Elliot gets a little bit older, we can do reading sprints a little bit more often or maybe for like a little bit longer or well, we'll see. But thank you so much for joining me because, it forces me to read or get work done. And so even though I feel like I sound sick still, I'm feeling better and this was just a lot of fun to do. But like I said, I'm going to have to go get Presley. So thank you all so, so much for joining me. We'll try and do more sprints around the same time next month. So usually around the third Thursday in the morning time for me. I actually don't know what time it is for all of you guys, but I think that is what we are going to do. So I'm just going to say bye for now since I need to go pick him up. And thank you guys. Bye.